Nice, we're getting really close. Last thing we want to do is just create this soul that's getting sucked out of him. So for that, we're going to create a solid layer. This is going to be the color that we're working with. And we can just pick an average gray. Let's grab one of the grays in this scene here. So what you want to do is apply a fractal noise effect. So search fractal noise, drag that on, and this creates a fractal noise, just kind of a fun, random pattern. And it's got no motion right now, but we want it to have some motion as we're moving through the timeline. And that's in the evolution settings right here. You can spin this wheel around and see the noise pattern changing, and this is just mathematical properties. So what we want to do is set a keyframe at the beginning of the evolution, and then all the way at the end, we will increase our evolution a lot, because we want it to animate a lot throughout the shot. And if you hit U, you can see those keyframes that you just created. Make sure to hit the stopwatch if you didn't. So let's play through this, and we can see a lot of noise. And I want even more, so I'm going to increase the revolutions here from 3 times to, let's say, 10 times. Let's see how that moves. That's pretty chaotic. I like that. Okay, so something else I want to do is I want to stretch this out. So let's open up our transform properties, and we'll untick uniform scaling, because I just want to scale this in height. I want to create long random streaks. And I'm also going to increase the complexity a little bit. And that's right here, just to get a little bit more detail out of this. So let's hit 0, see how that's looking. So we also want this pattern to be moving up so that it's being sucked out of his body and into our guy's hand. So we can use this offset turbulence attribute here to adjust the position. So again, I'll go to the beginning. I'll turn on my stopwatch to enable keyframes. It will create a keyframe, and if I hit U, it'll show it to me here. So now I'll go to the very end, last frame, and I'll drag that 540 there, the second attribute, which is the height. I'll drag that way up, and I'm holding shift to increase the rate that I scale this up by. You can use control to fine tune it, and shift if you want to make more extreme changes. So that's looking pretty good. It's actually going the wrong way. I want it to be going up. So I'm going to reverse this value. All I have to do is change it to be negative, so I'll do negative 15,000. And I like how that's looking. And now I want to create a smooth mask around this. So I'll grab my pen tool here and a sort of elliptical shape with just a pointed top and bottom. And I'm doing that by clicking and dragging to create the rounded parts, and just clicking once to create the sharper parts. You can move these around, and I want to soften this mask by hitting M. If you hit M twice in a row, it'll open up all of the mask settings. So we want to adjust the mask feather here. Slide this until it's looking pretty soft. I like around 100 or so, 150. And so this is the pattern that we're going to be using for his soul, but it's not going to look exactly like this. I actually think I want to increase the contrast a little bit more in the fractal noise settings here, so we can really see the difference there. And oh, something I missed is to make sure that this solid is below our LUT, and you'll see now it makes it way more extreme in contrast because our adjustment layer is increasing the contrast below everything. So I'm going to undo increasing the contrast on my fractal noise. And I want it about there, where we can really see the black and the white nicely. So I'm going to reposition this so that it's in the right spot, so I will hit R to rotate. I'll rotate it to the right angle, and then I can just drag this over for the position. And now I want to scale this down. I'll hit S and drag scale down so that this is moving in the right direction. And I'm also seeing a hard edge right here. That's just because it's the top of my solid layer, and my mask is too high since I feathered it so much. So I'm just going to bring my mask edge down, make this a little bit smaller, And I don't want the black detail there, so I'm going to change this. First I'm going to name it, hit enter, name it, I don't know, soul. We can change the blending mode here from normal to any of these, probably overlay. So let's overlay, and then let's adjust the opacity until we get a look we're happy with. And you guys can refine this on your own as well in any way you want. Let's see how that's looking. So yeah, I definitely like the motion there. Now we just want to keyframe when that happens. So right when he sticks his hand out is when we'll start this. And I think what I want to do is animate this mask so we see it coming out of him. So I'll click on the mask and I'll hit M to get to my mask path. I'll hit the stopwatch to enable keyframes. And I want to start on, I want the mask to start over my character here, but I want it to reach this shape. So I'm going to drag this keyframe out. And around here, which is around where his hand is being pushed out, I'll double click on my mask and I can scale it uniformly all the way down like so. So now it creates a keyframe and that mask animates out at the right time. And then we'll do the same for when he releases him. I'm going to set another keyframe here that I like the shape of by clicking the little keyframe here. And then I'll go a little bit later and double click my mask, scale that down uniformly. And let's see how that looks. I think I want his soul to come out a little faster, so I'll just move these keyframes around. And I'll also hit F9 on them, drag select them and hit F9 to add an easy ease, which is just a little softer animation. Cool, that's looking pretty cool. It's a little sharp at the end here, so I'm going to increase my mask feather. Open up your mask options. I'll increase this mask feather to like 250. So I watched that through, and the last adjustment I wanted to make was to keyframe my histogram of my levels effect on my guy layer. So select your guy layer, go to your levels effect in your histogram, and I just kind of clicked through the timeline, and whenever I thought he needed adjusting, I would adjust the white and black points. So at the end, I brought his black point down a little bit, and at the beginning, I brought it up, and I hit the stopwatch here to create keyframes for that, so that throughout the shot, his black and white output points are looking correct. I thought he was a little too dark here, so I'm bringing him up. And I'm referencing this guy here too. We want to compare it to how bright he is in the scene. He's pretty washed out. So just some more refining to do.